This is a flip through of a lapbook I created approximately 2 months ago. Just getting around to videotaping. There's a handmade buckle, it's a brass buckle, all sorts of trims and canvas. The front has a frame with some acetate and like chipboard that's been covered with vintage pages and distressed and inked. Some book corners that have been aged with patina, and a small book plate I've left blank. The edge has the same thing, a bunch of trims and a lace, gold type lace in the center. A handmade charm on one of those plumber's chain findings that I've bent and shaped into shape and added some brads to. And the charm is various sort of little dangles, handmade dangles on different chains, some leaves, different colored chains, some copper wire. This edge consists of some, it was gold trimmed cardstock on top of that lace. It's been stitched on. In the back is a Tim Holtz piece of paper and some other items, a die cut, and some strips I cut out from some of his paper. Some like a twine burlap trim. Inside I've got that vintage Sears catalog, I think it was 1892, that I've cut out some of the items for sale through them and made journaling cards and coated them. It's very brittle paper. This is just a journaling card with some printable ephemera lined with some back paper, lined paper. This, let me get a ruler because I forgot to measure. Just so you know, it is a big book. It measures 7.5, a little over 7.5 by 9 3/8, and a 2 3/4 inch main spine, and the two smaller spines are like 1 1/4 each. Let's get back to where we were. There's another frame I've created with some like cardstock done in the same way, covered with some vintage paper that's been distressed, inked and distressed. Some buttons with some embossing powders on it. Same with that one. Some antiqued corners. This is actually an altered envelope, and inside is backed with some decoupage with some tissue paper. Then I've included a printable folded ledger piece in that pocket. As you can see, this is a really large book. There are 3 little tucks here that I've included. I think it was Victoria Designs. 3 little pieces of like ephemera that can be written on. In that, it's lots of stitching on the file folders, the brown file folders that I've edged it and stitched around. On this side is 2 pockets, and this one I've included this little notebook with some coffee dyed and tea dyed and all kinds of dyed papers that have been just like a 2-hole pamphlet stitch. All kinds of glued on washi tape just so it doesn't come unstuck. In this one's a little matchbook notepad with some Tim Holtz, the little 3x3 squares. Over here is just a lot of, you know, some journaling spots, and that opens up to even bigger. I love to put lots of things. This is where my business card is. I made 2 tucks with these, the library card pockets that I've created, folded over the flap on this side. On this side is a little pocket on the top with a little journaling card, little tag. And inside the pocket is another one. I put pulled strings on them. Some more ephemera. All can be written on. It's line stamped and or just stamped paper. There's a lot of stenciling involved in here, a lot of mixed media. Then these are magnetized down, and behind can be also be written on. There's different pieces of paper to write on. Here has another big pocket with a heavier, oh, it's a leather looking, like chipboard that was on one of those expandable file folders, a vintage one. In between, in the back here, this is another altered envelope, and I put the flap up over this flap and put in 2 of these vintage flinch cards in those tucks. Inside here is some more of that paper. Yes, I did. I've included 2 sheets. I don't know what that one's sticking on. 2 sheets that have been aged and distressed. I'm gonna have to figure out what that's sticking on there. And that just wraps around. And that was some braided embroidery floss that I braided up. On this side, so I'll close this. On this side is these flips that I've created with some journaling spots behind these two pieces of postcards, advertising bits, and two more that I put tags in, some printable tags that I created pockets out of these advertising pieces. Just a fun book. Over here we have two pockets, and there is more of that heavy like chipboard that I've actually punched holes in and lined with gold distressed with more of the paper and distressed, and used my shoe polish treatment on it to make it look really old and rustic. Inside these two pockets is another bit of ephemera. There is a little tuck here also in the top of the flap. And another piece of ephemera, and another tuck. And those just swing around. These also lift up to a photo frame with photo corners that I've used glossy accents to glue down. Tim Holtz, bit of a Tim Holtz ephemera in there. You can replace it with a picture. And this one lifts up too with another Tim Holtz piece of ephemera. Journaling card. Behind this flap is two tucks that flip open for lots of journaling spots. All have been stitched around. They all flip up, lots of areas to write, and then it tucks in a cute little thing that I put there, an inspiring thing. All these have been stitched around, so they're nice and sturdy. I used some Nouveau drops to make it look like there was brads, little brads there. Kids are home from school. They're not my kids, neighbors' kids. In here I used some of that train schedule paper and created some pockets with tabs and some more ephemera put in those pockets. And Tim Holtz also. This looks up and out, and this is a pocket. I just put a big piece of ephemera in it, but it can be used for a picture of your choice in there. And this is also held closed with a magnet, and that opens up with a nice journaling spot here. Two more flip downs with more journaling spots, and like a business card holder that I put a piece of ephemera in. stitched around. Those also held closed. This is held closed with the magnet in there. In the center, we have a little pocket here with a little flip up. And these are holding these closed. And another one. There are two more pockets over here. Two bits of Tim Holtz journaling cards in these pockets. I think this was Victoria's also that I've used. These lift up. Big journaling spaces. Punched out the trim for inside here, made some more decorative on some cardstock, same that paper, some embossing powder melted onto this heavy chipboard, punched out, and there's a key on there. These lift up, and it's a raggedy booklet that I've included using Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher, and just a pretty picture in the back. And then I just close this up and tuck these in, and it just holds those two flaps down. In the center, I put, there's a little thing that you could hang something from, and these are those plumber's chains also that I've bent and folded, and I made a pen holder. These are one of my favorite pens, the zebra pens. So I put that one in there. There is a little tiny pouch here, canvas pouch with the Tim Holtz quote charms on it. You could probably fit a little something in that little pouch. There's a tie here. You could tie some papers into there. On this side is a larger pocket. I had to keep things on the inside flaps kind of flat. It's not a lot of room, so I put in this printable paper in there from Bohemian Crafting. Her office papers, the printables. Is a tuck here that has some more Tim Holtz journaling cards on there. Some more of that vintage London train schedule. Some more stencil and decorative trims. And this is actually a large pocket that contains the writing journal itself. This is Tim Holtz paper that I've created. Made a binding with another strip of his paper for, and there is a different kind of paper on the back just because it looked better. There's various of those office papers, creating flips. In a tuck with the tag. Some, I forgot what they call that, accounting paper. Some vintage ledger journal type paper. Some more of that printable. It's just a variety of pages. This is a tuck here. It actually goes to this envelope I've created here. Then this is a Project Life card that I've really aged and distressed. And so it didn't look so new. Just looks awesome. Some more of that paper. It's a fairly large book. Lots of journaling areas. This is the center. Another flip. A tag in that little tuck. This is that tuck again for this envelope. Another tag. There's lots of things in this book. Another envelope, and it's all about like travel. It's actually consists of, it's 2 signatures in here. I'm pretty certain I did 2 signatures. Yes, there's 2 signatures. This would be the end and the start of one. It's a 5-hole pamphlet stitch with waxed cording, and it's nice and chunky, and it slips into this very strong pocket. I made it very strong, supported the edges so it isn't going to collapse. You know, it's very strong. Another tie in the center to tie something. Then the expandable pocket, which, if I'm right, I think I filled with lots of goodies. This is some more Tim Holtz paper that's been doubled over, folded over. I've stitched all the lines in there so that it expands. It's got 3 very, very wide pockets. There's another one of these notebooks, and another matchbook one with some tickets and some assorted papers. And this one has another long notebook. And a little tiny, just a 4-page, 8-side page little notebook. And a little banded notebook like the other one, but it has a little band on it. And then all have been stitched in, usually 3-hole pamphlet stitch. But it can hold a lot. It all folds up. And I want to thank you for looking, and have a great day.